You say something clumsy in a meeting. The room goes dead quiet. Before you can open your mouth to fix it, your face catches fire. Heat starts at your neck and explodes across your cheeks in a red wave you cannot control. You stare at the table, praying for the color to drain away. In that moment, you would trade anything to stop the blush. But the real reason your face is burning has nothing to do with this meeting. It has nothing to do with your confidence, your social skills, or your willpower. It has everything to do with not being thrown out of a prehistoric tribe. And once you understand what your body is actually doing, that red face will never look like weakness again. For your ancient ancestors, a social mistake was not just awkward, it was lethal. In a world where survival depended entirely on staying inside a group, rejection was a death sentence. A lone human could not bring down large prey, could not fend off predators at night, could not find safe water or shelter. Belonging was oxygen. So any action that threatened the group's trust, stealing a scrap of meat, failing to warn about danger, lying about a resource, could trigger the worst punishment imaginable. Exile, that constant threat of being cast out, shaped your nervous system more than any saber-toothed cat ever did. And it forced your body to evolve a signal so desperate, so transparent, and so impossible to fake that no one in the tribe could ignore it. That signal is your blush. Blushing is your body's ancient surrender plea, written in blood and electricity. When your brain detects that you have violated a social rule, it does not ask your permission. It fires the sympathetic nervous system, the same network that activates fight or flight. Adrenaline releases, heart rate climbs, blood vessels in your face, neck, and chest suddenly dilate. The rush of blood turns your skin into a flashing red sign that screams what your mouth cannot. I know I messed up. I feel shame. Please do not abandon me. And that signal works precisely because you have zero control over it. You cannot command your face to blush. You cannot stop it once it starts. This is not a design flaw, it is a feature. The uncontrollability guarantees that your remorse is authentic. No manipulator, no psychopath, no cold-blooded liar can produce a genuine blush on demand. So your crimson cheeks become an involuntary confession that the tribe's ancient subconscious can trust absolutely. Psychologist Mark Leary has spent decades proving this. In his experiments, people who visibly blushed after a mistake were consistently rated as more trustworthy and more likable than those who stayed stone-faced. The blush itself performed the apology, separate from any words. His research shows that observers unconsciously interpret the blush as a sincere signal of appeasement, and they reduce punishment accordingly. The face that burns is the face that gets to stay. Further work by Desher Keltner at UC Berkeley found that embarrassment displays like blushing make you appear more cooperative, more moral, and more committed to group harmony. In one study, after witnessing someone suffer mild social embarrassment, participants were more likely to share resources with them. The red-faced person was not seen as weak. They were seen as human, connected, safe. Your body had, in a fraction of a second, diffused a potential conflict that could have spiraled into rejection. And it did it without your conscious mind getting in the way. But why redness? Why heat? If the goal is simply to submit, why not just lower the head or avoid eye contact? Because shame is not a basic emotion. It is a uniquely social one that requires an advanced piece of mental hardware, theory of mind. To feel shame, you must realize that you have broken a shared rule and that someone else has seen you do it. You must simulate another person's judgment of you inside your own head. This is so cognitively demanding that animals do not blush, not even our closest genetic relatives. A chimpanzee may offer a submissive grin or cower, but it does not turn pink. Small human children also do not blush with shame until they develop self-awareness around age 2 or 3. Then suddenly their brains run a full simulation of how they look to the tribe, and the face lights up. So the blush is not just a primitive reflex. It is the consequence of you being able to see yourself through another's eyes. Your body is announcing your moral self-evaluation in the only language that cannot be faked: biology. The regions of your brain that orchestrate this are equally revealing. The anterior cingulate cortex, which also processes physical pain, flares when you experience social rejection. Your brain treats the threat of ostracism exactly like it treats a knife. So blushing is not separate from pain. It is the visible distress signal of a brain that believes its social survival is at stake. And it gets worse when you fight it. The harder you try to suppress a blush, the more your sympathetic nervous system overrides you. You blush, feel shame about blushing, which triggers more blushing. And now you are locked in a cycle that proves one thing beyond doubt: your apology is authentic. If you could switch it off, the signal would lose all value. The sheer helplessness of your reddening face becomes the ultimate credibility test. Now, fast forward to today. You are not likely to be cast into the wilderness for a poor joke. But your brain's ancient operating system does not know that. It still responds to any social misstep as if your band's judgment could determine life or death. In a job interview, on a date, in a new group of friends, the heat still rises. You might curse your blushing. You might assume it makes you look fragile. But the opposite is true. A 2011 study showed that individuals who blushed after a social slip-up were treated more gently and rated as more genuine. The blush not only reduced the severity of their punishment, it actively built bridges. When you blush, you open a window into your internal state, and others instinctively lean in. They sense no threat. They see remorse. They feel closer. In a world saturated with image management, curated profiles, and polished responses, the one signal you cannot fake may be the most precious social currency you own. So next time your face ignites in a silent room, do not treat it as an enemy. It is a 7 million-year-old survival ritual, hijacking your blood vessels without permission to scream an apology far louder than any sorry could. Your face just told everyone you care about the group. You feel the weight of your error, and you are still one of them. The very reaction you wish you could erase is the most honest thing about you. When the room goes quiet and your cheeks betray you, remember, that blush just proved you are human. And for the ancient tribe inside your brain, that proof has always been enough to let you stay.